and welcome to another episode of Bum with a Wrench. I'm your host, Daniel. We're back here on the Fairlane 500 doing the wiring for the Dakota digital gauges. I think in the second episode we were going over the harness that's behind the dash. I still need to work on that. Here it is here. So, I pretty much just figured out where all the circuits go, have a good idea on where I'm going to move them to and how they're going to lay in the car. But before I really go any farther with this, what I want to do is actually get under the hood and start to run all the circuits for the different sensors under the hood. I want to find the routing for that. I did talk to the owner, and we are going to change it from a generator to an alternator system. So I need to update this to a alternator style system, which is going to require a little bit of modification on its own. I have the bracket and stuff coming. I have an old alternator off my Galaxy that we're just going to throw on it for now. But I need to do a voltage regulator and that kind of stuff. So there's a little bit of modification in that I need to do. And then also, like I said, drop the sensors in there, figure that kind of stuff out. Go through a little bit of the wiring that's in here because some circuits I'm going to use, some I'm not. And so you really want to, before you modify too much, just you're putting together your game plan. And as long as you stay in that frame of mind where you're not rushing on one thing, you're just, you're having all of these different paths intersecting to one single spot in the car, it'll be easier for you to figure out how to put it together and have it look nice too. That way you don't have just wires hanging all over the dang place, zip tie it up to the crossbars and all that kind of stuff. I like to try and follow the harness, the stock harness, as much as possible. That way when you get under here and you look, it doesn't look out of place. But again, you do what makes you happy and what's easiest for you. So this is just the way I do stuff. There's many ways of doing this. So today, that's what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to get started under the... All right, guys, I wanted to take a quick break and show you what I've already done before I get too far into this, because I don't want to have it all done and then just show you and be like, yeah, look, it's all done, and then have you be like, how'd you do that, So take a couple seconds here. Well, for me, a couple seconds. For normal people, it'd be like minutes and minutes and minutes, because I like to talk a lot. But so I took this is the engine harness, 3 circuits, 1963. Back then things were a little simpler. So I took the engine harness, my 3 circuits, and unplugged it from the connector, and then just took it over to the sink and scrubbed it down with some soap and water, cleaned it up. It was grimy and oily and, lots of years of being messed up. But I want to inspect the circuit sheathing for stuff like this. This is the temperature sensor. So you can see here where it's got just a little nick in it. I could just put a little piece of shrink tube over top of that. I think the coil wire had kind of a bump where somebody had poked it. So there's that one too. But so if you were going to reuse this, which I might, because I need to pull I need to power the coil, and then 2, I need to pull a wire for the tachometer. So I need 2. There's 3 in here, so maybe I'll just roll the 3rd one back and not do anything with it. But so I'm going to use 2 of these, and so I'll probably end up reusing this. This will lay across the valley right where you think it would. The other thing I did was I took 2 of the other 3 circuits that I need. Let me get you in here. Pointed down here. So these are the 2 newer circuits. One is the coolant, and the other one goes down here for the oil pressure. It's just going to loop down, and then their oil pressure sensors down there. Coolant temperature sensor goes right here. And so basically all I did was kind of just line it up and see the lengths of what I needed, and then put a little bit of wrap on it so I can kind of see where everything's going to go, put everything in its place. After I get this harness, the stock one, situated and know what I'm going to actually do with it, then I'll go ahead and lay this in it as well. This will just lay down with it, and I'll just quickly tape that in place so that everything is all kind of one piece at that point. And then I have some just wire sheathing. I got this off of Amazon. It's this. Normally I don't use the split type, but this is just the split type. It looks like the Chinese finger trap one, except for this one has a split down the side of it, so you can just kind of fish it in there. I usually don't use this. I usually use the finger trap one, but with this, I figured this is the best for that. The other thing that I did is he decided to go ahead and change it over to an alternator system. And so I got the bracket, ordered this off of Amazon. And when I say cheap, it doesn't even, that word is too good for this part. It is horribly cheap, but it doesn't matter. Again, we're just gonna quick, dirty, throw this in. So I have taken the regulator, or the generator, sorry, out of it. Took the generator out. It sat right here in the car. It was all right here. I went ahead and took that out, and then started mocking up the new alternator in the position that it's going to go in. The alternator on this motor hangs low. It's down here, unlike mine that's kind of up here. So with this one, when I went to put the bracket in, I noticed that it doesn't fit very well, and I'm probably gonna have to wobble the holes open a little bit. But the water pump pulley, because it's set up for the generator, is not right for this bracket system. So I ordered a water pump pulley off of Amazon. That was like 60 bucks. So this is kind of getting not very cheap, but still as cheap as you can do. So the other thing I did is I went through and isolated the circuits from the generator. Those are here. Got those circuits, basically just unplugged them. Oh, same over here with the regulator. Put the new regulator in it. I took the old generator regulator out. These are the circuits that went to that. And so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to chop these ends off and then go through and plug it all together. And then I just used just the male-female connector. So this is the female connector, and I'm just going to use those and crimp the wires into place. Normally that's not what I would do. Normally I would have the correct connector for that regulator. But again, we're just trying to get this working because coming up soon, it's going to get a new motor anyways. So we figured we might as well get everything kind of operational in the way that it's going to be with the big motor, in the hopes that maybe that makes it a little bit easier when we go to do the big motor. Yeah, I don't know. I like alternators better anyways. So it's not that hard. I'm not going to go through the process of how to convert generator to alternator. There's a ton of videos out there. If you're not sure, it's super simple. You know, the videos are very informative. They'll tell you exactly how to do it, even what harnesses to buy to make it just a plug and play system. Basically, if you do it the way they do it, you lay it out on a bench, you basically plug all the harness together with the ends, crimping all the ends and stuff together. You plop it in the car, and then you just plug it in, and it's done. That one video I was watching, at least, is really nice. So, because no matter how many times you do it, you know, it's hard to know everything and remember everything too. So, you know, going back and just watching it real quick to make sure that you're thinking the right way. And, you know, of course, after you're done, you're like, okay, yeah, no, that's what I was thinking I was going to do. So, so we're good there. I'm going to now take that fan off, take the water pump pulley off, get the alternator bracket installed. I do have it didn't come with any bolts, but you know, I've got a lot of bolts and stuff laying around the shop. So I got to make a custom spacer for this bolt and this alternator to go on that engine. No big deal there. This is the only part that was really kind of beefy, but even at that, it's not very heavy, so I don't know what gauge metal this is. Of course, chrome. I'm going to put this in the media blaster and take care of that problem, and then throw some spray paint on it so it matches the engine. I'll get this done. Once under the hood is done, I'm going to go ahead and slide underneath the car. The last circuit coming into the car is going to be the transmission speed. And then I'll probably mirror the harness going to the back to pick up the fuel pump or fuel sending unit, sorry, because they want to separate their own circuit all the way back to the sending unit as a ground. Helps calibrate, like I was saying before. So I'll probably just mirror that one, which I believe is right there on the inside of the car, and then I'll just poke it through, ground it to the same grounding peg that the sensor is already grounded to, and then that'll complete that circuit. Run all that to the inside. That'll set me up good for tomorrow as far as finishing up the underdash harness. At this point, once I have all of the circuits coming into the car that I need up to the dash with a little grommet and everything completely outside done, then all I have to do then is just concentrate on that harness over there, which is going to be eliminating all of the light bulbs. So that's just snipping them off, putting a little bit of shrink tube on them. I'm not going to eliminate the circuits altogether. I don't see any point in it because, again, we're going to go fuel injection. All that stuff's going to come out anyways. So I'll just terminate it, put a little shrink tube on it, wrap it up real nice, take the circuits out that I need, lay those off to the side, bring these circuits in, lay those parallel to each other, wrap them up, put a little bit of the wire sleeve on it, make it look real nice. And I'm just going to take a little bit of, it's like a Velcro, but it's a really strong Velcro. I'll put a little Velcro on the bottom of that module. On the inside of the car, there's a brace in there that holds the steering column. I'll clean that off real well, and then I just put a little Velcro right there to that brace in that column. I've done that before. It works really well. And then if you do need to get that module out, all you gotta do is reach up there and just pull the Velcro right off. Other than that, it never moves. So I've never had a problem with doing it that way. It actually works out really well, especially if you need to quickly pin out a circuit or just repair a circuit. You can actually pull it without taking the whole dash and stuff, pull it and then pull it down so you can see it, get to it, and then stick it back up, and then you just eyeball it where it goes, and of course the Velcro will grab every time. No need for nuts and bolts and all that crap. So let me get doing that. All right, guys, it is end of the day today. Pretty late. I was on this all day, and the littlest thing, just takes you for a ride. So I got most of it done with the alternator, I should say, because before, remember I said let's get the alternator mounted, get the wiring buttoned up, lay the harness in, kind of see where everything's going to go, and put that speed harness in and have that dangling in the car. Well, yeah, I got the wiring for the alternator done. Let's say that. That's about what I could do. This thing fought. I'll tell you, if you're doing a job like this and you go to do the regulator, get the connector. This is the first time I've done it without the connector, and man, is that a bear, trying to get all of those little connectors to line up, and where none of them's been in the other one, and they're not trying to pull out of the stupid regulator. Just get the connector, especially if you have the time. I would put it on. I don't have the time. Car's got to get finished. But I did get the alternator mounted. It's in the car now. So, and it's dirty. And like I said, that's the old one from my Galaxy. So, but like always, here's the wires that came off the generator that was right here. But the alternator, the circuits are way over here on the other side, way on the far side of the alternator by the engine. Of course, these barely make it. They don't even touch the alternator. So I think what I'm going to do tomorrow is open this harness up and probably cut them back up in here and then just pull them out, connect them to the alternator, and then see what kind of length I need in between, and then splice in jumpers. I'll solder it in so it'll be solid, and I get the wires, the colors, and everything else that I need against the alternator. It'll just have a spliced in jumper in there. You won't see it because it'll be all wrapped up and stuff, but not something I like doing. Honestly, it's not. But that's what needs to happen. I got to keep telling myself that this is just, a temporary job, that it doesn't need to be, this elaborate thing like I usually do. So it's hard because that's what I like doing. But so that's where we're at. So tomorrow when I come in, I'm going to do that, and then everything else. So let me stop this here for today. We'll call this the end of today, and then we'll start it up again tomorrow. Welcome back, guys. It is next day here in the shop, and I did a little bit of work off camera, just trying to get this harness buttoned up because I didn't want to show you that jumbled up mess too many times. I know you want to see the final product. So this is the next stage in the process. And I haven't really done anything to the harness that it was really all that much. It looks really nice now because it's nice and complete. But really all it is, the only thing you contribute that to is just this wire wrap. It's the same harness that I showed you with all the circuits and everything hanging out everywhere. But all I did was I give them little legs. Of course, you want to make sure your legs are in the same place that they were to begin with. So as you're taking your harness apart, use zip ties to hold everything in place. As you're starting to build your new leg, this is the new leg that goes to the module. Make sure you're holding, the harness where it needs to be held. So don't just rip your whole harness apart and then start ripping and tearing on the wires. Do it, smoothly. So actually, in this section of the harness right here, I didn't do anything other than put a new covering on it. If you were to peel this back, you actually see the factory original covering. So this is just something to make it look a little bit more modern. And then it also ties in with all the new covering and stuff that I put on. This is the leg. So on this half of the harness over here, this is where all of these circuits were. They all came off right here, and they all came up and went to the dashboard to run your controls. We don't need that anymore. I still need the circuit going over here to run my cigarette lighter. This one goes down to the windshield wipers, I believe. This one just gets tucked up underneath the dash somewhere. It's just the relay or the blinking module. This is just a ground, and then you got your ignition switch. Not really sure what that does. Don't care. I'll just put it right back. Didn't hurt anything. So, and then this is all your steering column down right here. This goes through to the end of the car. These stick out of the car. So it's all real simple. And believe me, if a bum like me can do it, you can do it. It's not that hard. Take your time. If it takes you a week to do something like this, it takes you a week. But I can guarantee you the satisfaction of having a nice harness like this after you're done and it fits in the car really nice and it does everything you need it to do is going to give you that sense of accomplishment. So, so first I'm going to go in the car, start laying out that new harness, making sure it fits the way I need it to fit before I get too far into this, even though it's pretty much in a completion stage. All I need to do now is that new pigtail that hangs off that goes to the new module. I'm probably going to have to put some jumper wires in there so it actually fits into that module correctly where I want the module to sit. So let me start working on that and I'll get back with you guys. All right, guys, I'm back. We're here in the car and I want to show you what's going on with the dashboard. I think we talked about and I showed you the original harness, and if not, I'll kind of explain to you right now why some of the things I did to change it, why I changed it, and how things are going to lay out. So let me get you pointed back over here into behind the dashboard. I know it's a little bit difficult to see, but let me kind of back up a little bit. So I do have a light in here that kind of try and illuminate the space. So this is that's the dashboard cavity, right? That's where the instrument cluster goes. Then I've got these two braces that kind of come off on either side with this opening in the center. Now, in front of those braces right there, the harness used to come across right here, right in front. And then all the wiring came up and plugged into the back of the gauge cluster, all right here. The new cluster, when it goes in, it needs every bit of this cavity. I tried to push the harness down to this lower half right here. It still was very tight going in. You don't want to squish the harness like that, because over time it's going to rub and it's going to create faults in the circuit. So one of my goals in this process was to move the harness that needed to come across this side to the back. And so what I've done is, you can kind of see it. Get this light out of the way. You can see it right there. That light makes it so kind of blurs everything out, but now you can't see anything because there's no light. Let me see if I can get you guys in here and then put the light in there. There we go. You can see the harness. You can see it right there behind the brace now. So it comes over. That's your ignition switch down over there, and then everything going up the side right there goes back toward the firewall. That's all your circuits coming across the back right there. You can see that one tag, and then you got the other parts of the loom that come over. So what you have is you have stuff for the wipers, the radio, the cigarette lighter, that kind of stuff are all coming this way. They couldn't be in front of this brace like they were. One of the things I thought about maybe doing was running it through this little gap down here, but that's a tight gap between the column and this brace, and it's much easier just to go behind it. So and then the second goal I had was see that brace right there, right down the center. That is the column brace, and that on top of that brace is what I was talking about. That's where I'm going to lay the module. So the other thing that I wanted to do was making that new leg of the harness. I wanted to see if I can turn this around in a way it's not going to blind you, but it still gives you light. Yeah, that kind of works. So the new leg of the harness is over here. It's on this side, and it's going to go across. So it's right here. I know my arm's in the way. So it's all of these right here with the tags on them. Those are all for the module. So I need to lengthen them. So I need to take the harness back out. But remember, when you're doing this, test fitting is key. Whenever you're doing anything, test fitting. Test fit it, test fit it, test fit it as many times as you need to before you final mount it. That way everything actually ends up in the place that you want it to end up. You can kind of see the harness. Let me see if I can just set the light up like that. You can kind of see the harness back over here. That's the main part, and then it reaches back all the way back into there. All of these circuits there are the ones that are going into the new module. I know it's kind of hard to see, but when you work on your car, you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. Take the time to look to see where the harness needs to go. It's not that hard. And like I said, so if you didn't want to do it the way I'm doing it and you wanted to do it the quicker, easier way, snip all the light bulbs off that you don't need, take the circuits that you do need. You could have easily taken that leg and just moved it behind that brace without having to go through all the trouble I went through. You could have just simply stuck it behind that brace and you'd have been totally fine. If you're worried about rattling or anything else, just zip tie it to that brace. No big deal. And then you could have just rolled your circuits that you didn't need up into a ball, make sure all the ends are capped, there's nothing going to ground out or spark or anything else. And then zip tie it up, stuff it off to the side, and you're totally fine. The only thing you have to worry about, especially with this car, is the wiper arms are actually on the inside of the car. So just pay attention to stuff like that. Make sure the wires and the circuits aren't in the way of the wiper arms. And it would have been quick and easy. You didn't even have to take the harness out of the car. You just had to kind of relocate some of it. Now it is a little bit more difficult pulling the circuits that you do need to add into the module out with the harness still in the car. So in that respect, you add a little bit of challenge to your process, but you're not taking the harness out, you're not cutting it apart and possibly getting lost or cutting out the wrong circuit. But remember, if a bum like me can do it, you can do it. So never underestimate yourself. And then if you mess it up, hey, look, there's companies out there that sell harnesses. So, hey, you cut the wrong circuit or you totally destroyed it, which even if you totally destroyed it, you could still solder in the circuits that you needed. I showed you how to do the soldering. It's not that hard. So don't be scared of it. Get out there, cut it apart, try it out. If it doesn't work, there's companies out there that'll sell you another harness. You can find them on eBay. I'd say go down to your local wrecking yard, but you're not going to find a 63 Fairlane in your local wrecking yard. And if you do, you should probably snatch it up as long as it's not rusted to the ground. But so that's where we're at. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that harness back out. I'm going to take a couple measurements before I do that. I'm going to measure where my leg comes out of the harness and then how far away that module is going to be. And then I'm probably going to add about a foot of wire on top of that. It's way too much wire. However, I don't want to have a wire that's super short, a circuit that's short. What I want is I want that harness to come out on a nice swooping bend and then swoop into the module in the back there. I don't want any tight circuits, and I don't want anything pulling on anything else. I want everything all nice and just easily swooping around and plugging in the way they're supposed to. The other thing is you want a little bit of length because you want to be able to reach up from, without taking the dashboard apart, reach up there, grab that module off the Velcro and pull it down so that in case you did need to reattach a wire or pin out a wire or any kind of operation where you needed to work on it, you could actually pull it down to a level where you can actually see it down here, and that way you're not blindly trying to get at it and then stuff it back up there, back on the Velcro. So a little extra wire is always your friend. Just pay attention to where that extra wire is going. Again, this has wipers on the inside, the wiper arms, so I got to be careful of that. It's no problem though. They shouldn't be in the way. You saw the wire wrap that I was using. You can use that as well. I highly recommend it. If you notice, I don't use electrical tape. I know a lot of people do. But if you've ever worked on these cars before, or just worked on any car with electrical tape, let me show you. So this is what I use. It's just a cloth tape. Really what this is for squeaks and rattles. There's no electrical properties to it. It's not going to insulate anything. All it does is kind of isolate something. So in case you got like a little part that possibly could rattle, you could wrap it in this and it's soft. It's just like a cloth tape. This doesn't leave the residue behind. This doesn't get all nasty and goopy over time. It sticks really well to itself. So if you're wrapping a harness up and you're wrapping it up, overlapping, half of this width, then it's going to stick to itself really long and not have any problems. Try that stuff out. I bought this off of Amazon. Real easy to find. Let me get that harness out. I'm going to get it back over here on the bench, and I'm going to fix a few of those circuits that I need to fix, like the module, and then I'm going to start wiring the module in. So I'm going to start connecting it. Like I was showing you, I want the circuits to come in real nice to each side. So, all right, guys, I'll be back with you. All right, guys, I'm here at the house on a Saturday. I am doing some final editing to, I believe this is episode 3. And one of the things I noticed is I never ended episode 3. I don't have any kind of sign off on there. It's Saturday. I don't want to drive all the way back to the shop just to do a sign off. So I'm here at the house in my office doing this final editing. So I need to do a sign off. So that's this. Thank you all for watching. I believe this is episode 3. And I've got episode 4 coming quickly behind this one. Because we're trying to get this Fairlane finished up. I got to get back to the owner. There's going to be a little bit of surprise when I get it back to the owner, and I think I'm going to bring you guys along for that so you can kind of see what's going on. I'll give you a little hint. It's in the 7-liter family, so we might have a visitor in the shop for a while. Of course, it's strictly a visitor. Doesn't get touched, but we can look, so that'll be cool, I think. So I'll save that little bit of a surprise later on when we go to drop off this Fairlane. But for now, just to kind of go over what I ended on, we were doing some finished wiring on the wiring harness for the 63. I was getting ready to go ahead and start wiring in that module. It was the end of the day that day, and so really that was it. So thank you guys for watching. On the next episode, we will get that module wired in. We'll get it installed back into the vehicle, and I won't be able to do the calibration on the fuel and on the Speedo, I think it is, because it doesn't have a windshield in it. So his son is one of my best friends. So, and he's actually the one that's helped me in the past do the calibration issues on the Dakota Digital, and actually doing the calibration on that. So they'll probably take care of that at the house. However, we'll still get to see it move and function and work. So on episode 3, let's get it installed. Let's check it out, see how it works. And then maybe I can get him to send me a little video or something of him doing the work there at the house. But regardless, thank you guys for watching. I hope you stick around. I don't want to lead into anything, but I've got some ideas for possible future videos based on a grammatical error that I made with this Fairlane video, in particular the very first one. I am a little bit I am dyslexic and a little bit ADHD. So those two things play into a little bit of my life quite a bit, where spelling and grammar are a little bit hard. And so I made a grammatical error on that very first video and put pickup, like a pickup truck, instead of pick up. If anybody watched that video and was upset and is watching this video, I do apologize for that. I'm not someone that's into clickbait. That's not what I was trying to do. It was simply just a grammatical error. I do apologize. So, but it gave me some ideas. That video blew up to over 1,000 views. It didn't really get me any more subscribers. However, I think I got an idea. I think I got something in the works. And if I decide to go that route, I'll run it past you and see what you think. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe, and tell your friends, let everyone know. I'm trying to do the best I can here. I've got some things I'm learning. I'm learning how to do thumbnails, so hopefully I can get those up soon. I need an intro video. I'm gonna start putting something together for an intro video. So, but thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all the love and support. I'm trying as hard as I can to work, be a dad, be a husband, do all of this stuff. Very, very late nights. So thank you all for watching. And until next time,